everyone, my name is Leslie Flores, and today we will be going over thesis statements. So I want to get started with some slides for you guys to all see. So again, like I said, we're going to be going over thesis statements today. So you might be asking yourself, what is the significance behind thesis statements? Why are they so important? I know a lot of you might remember some of your teachers asking you in your essays, maybe you were missing the thesis statement, or they would say, your thesis statement isn't so clear. So I'm here to explain it to you a little better and give you some insight on maybe even an easier way to write out your thesis. So what the thesis statement does is it explains to the reader the main idea and your stance on the topic. And it should be a claim that can be argued, supported, and expanded throughout your essay. So what that means is that it should be something that throughout your essay you can talk more about. So you don't want to do anything too simple so that it's like self-explanatory. You want it to be something like, if you were giving this as one example, you could say that the reason that you believe that kids should get allowances is because, and then your first reason, instead of making it like because they should, and that's it. It should be something that you can expand on. So kids should get allowances because it helps them save for the future, and then that's something you can expand on. So what are they going to be saving for the future, if that makes sense? Is also typically one sentence. So when you're writing your thesis statement, it's usually in this blank is important because 1, 2, 3. And we'll go over that in a second as well. So usually one sentence, that's even what I've seen a lot throughout high school. And it is usually at the end of your introduction paragraph. So for now, focus on making your thesis one sentence and at the end of your paragraph, your intro paragraph. So an example, let's say that we were writing about school lunch improvement. So if I was writing about school lunch improvement, remember how if we go back, you want to explain to the reader the main idea of what you're going to write about and also your stance. So if you don't know what stance means, stance is like your opinion on the topic, where you stand. So stance, so where you stand on the topic. So school lunch improvement, you agree with it? Do you not agree? Do you think lunches are fine? For me, my stance is that I believe that school lunch improvement is important, and we should keep doing that. So if my topic is school lunch improvement, an example of my thesis statement could be school lunch improvement is important because, so here's me restating the topic, school lunch improvement is important because, and then right here, I've highlighted my first example, my second example, and my third example. So examples or reasonings. So because it makes students healthier, so your first paragraph is going to be how it makes students healthier. My second reasoning is it helps students learn better. So my second paragraph would be all about how it helps students learn better. And then my third example is that school lunch improvement saves schools money. So my third paragraph is going to be about how it saves schools money. So again, when you're writing it, this is going to be the last paragraph, the last sentence that you have anyways in the first paragraph. So what the thesis statement also does is it helps you structure your essay. So now you know that this is going to be your first paragraph, this is going to be your second paragraph, this is going to be your third body paragraph. And there you go, you already have 4. Your intro, your first body, your second body, and your third body. So, and that's something that I should have clarified here, but just know we're talking about body paragraphs. So going back to my template, remember I talked about this at the beginning, that blank is important because of blank, blank, and blank. And those are going to be your 3 different paragraphs that you're going to be writing about. So again, if we're going back to school lunch improvement is important because it makes students healthier, it helps students learn better, and it saves schools money. So now, I want us to get to practice a little bit. So an example that I have for an essay that you maybe have already written or one that you may see in the future is the topic sentence of how do you define bravery? And now it wants you to write about someone who exemplifies bravery to you. So that's exactly what we're going to do. How do you define bravery? And we're going to write about what bravery means to us. So we're going to go here and I'm going to write this out for us again. So it was, how do you define bravery? Who is someone who exemplifies bravery to you? So we're not focusing on writing an entire essay. All we're focused on writing is the answer to this. How do you define bravery, and who is someone who exemplifies bravery to you? And again, right now we're just focusing on the thesis. So if you don't remember, I'm going to write this over here at the top as well. It's one sentence, and it is at the end of intro paragraph. Okay, so how do you define bravery? So I'm going to use it as an example if I was writing this essay myself. So let's see, let's think about it. I think that bravery has to do with showing courage and fearlessness. That's what I think bravery is. Okay, so I answered the first question. And now I'm going to take the second part so that I can start building my thesis. And let's figure out who is someone who exemplifies bravery to you. So again, because this is something that I'm writing, we're doing it together, I'm just going to take the example and I'll just say my sister. So I'll say my sister. And now let's think of the 3 reasons why she exemplifies bravery so that we can again write our thesis that has our 1, 2, 3 body paragraphs. So I think that she exemplifies bravery because she speaks up for herself. She defends what she believes in. And faces her fears. Do you notice also when I'm writing this, I'm writing things that I can expand on. Again, when you're writing thesis, always focus on what can you talk more about. So speaks up for herself. That's self-explanatory, but in my first body paragraph, I can write a lot about how she speaks up for herself. So speaks up for herself, that's 1. And then the second one, defends what she believes in. Okay, that also makes sense, but I can expand on it too. How does she defend what she believes in? In my body paragraph, I could maybe talk about how she doesn't let anyone change her opinion about her grades, and she always makes sure to get the best grades that she can. So faces her fears would be my third. My three's a little off. But then I would just talk about in the next paragraph how she faces her fears. So do you see how we answered the question, and we're also then this is all our brainstorming first. And then we answered who's someone who exemplifies bravery does. We answered that question again and came up with what our 3 body paragraphs would look like. So if we want to put it all together, we're going to put it all together in green. So our thesis is going to be bravery is showing courage and fearlessness. So the next, I know that it says 1 sentence, so focus primarily on my sister part, because bravery, this is kind of 2 questions. So this would be the first sentence answering the first question, but this is where you're gonna incorporate your 3 body paragraphs, because your priority is explaining what bravery is, but more so who is someone who's brave and why. That makes sense. So bravery is showing courage and fearlessness. My sister is someone who exemplifies bravery because, and now we're going to incorporate our 1, 2, 3, because she speaks up for herself, defends what she believes in, and faces her fears. And now I'm going to try to move this a little bit. Perfect. So as you can see right here, we've taken everything and kind of just mashed it together. So we took our definition of the person who exemplified bravery to us, and we just transformed it into a one-sentence thesis. And I know you might be thrown off a little bit by this first sentence right here, but just keep in mind that this is very important to the question that you're being asked. So define bravery, but the most important thing is right here. That's your one sentence, because this is where you're supposed to be expanding on. So there you go, your thesis. Bravery is showing courage and fearlessness. My sister exemplifies bravery because she speaks up for herself, defends what she believes in, and faces her fears. So in the first paragraph, we talk about how she speaks up for herself. The second, how she defends what she believes in, and the third, faces her fears. I hope this makes sense. We're going to be going over paragraph structure later, but hope that makes enough sense so that you can start maybe working on a couple of thesis statements yourself. Thank you.